This week on Maker Update, dialing a tune the hard way, a Gutterpunk ocarina, a Solarpunk Cyberdeck, and a proper guide to designing for heatset inserts. Hello and welcome back to Maker Update, the series where we share with you all of our favorite Maker tips and tools to hopefully inspire your next project. I'm Tyler Weingartner and I hope you're all doing great. We've got a super fun show for you. Let's get it going with the project of the week. In her build out of her camper tiny home, Kampf wants a way to play music. Something that's fun and interactive like a jukebox, but smaller. She has this classic corded phone and wants it to be part of the interface to build something totally new and original. While the design and physical construction plays to Laura's strengths, she doesn't have the electronics knowledge to get something like this over the hill, which is why she's employed the help of Estefannie. Estefannie began by trying to reverse engineer the phone's keypad, since they'd like to use that to select the music you want to listen to. But after a few hours of painstaking trial and error, she opts to make her own custom keypad, since she can have that together in around an hour. Meanwhile, Laura is wiring up the phone's handset so it can be used as a microphone that can be amplified. Next, Laura introduces a tape deck and an amplifier that she wants to be functional parts of the Jukebox console. To add these, she builds a sturdy frame and enclosure that resembles a modern analog synth console. The front of the console is made from a sturdy piece of 1/4-inch aluminum that will house the phone body, the handset cradle, and this control panel that lets them turn it on and off, change modes, and adjust the volume. The cassette tape seems to function as a separate unit selected by the amplifier, but the phone interface is too fun to ignore. When you switch it on, you'll hear a dial tone. That's your cue to key in a song. If there's a song for your key combo, it'll play that selection. If not, you'll hear a classic phone busy signal. And just for good measure, there's also a Bluetooth receiver and some inputs for the cassette deck. We don't get any info on how the Arduino is storing and handling the music, but there's so many MP3 player boards out there, it's easy to imagine she's using one of those. But the combination of materials, the wood, the aluminum, the classic stereo components, and the old control interfaces, plus the pop of orange from the phone cradle, makes this a gorgeous appliance. If this project doesn't make you want to rummage and hoard old electronics just to build something like this, I don't know what will. You can check out the full video down in the description. More projects. Becky has a new video out where she shows how to use the electronic components from a disposable vape cartridge to build a tiny pocket-sized synthesizer. Becky has a personal vendetta against these things, but with good reason. These are meant to be used once, but contribute a tremendous amount of e-waste. There's a LiPo battery, a charging circuit, a breath sensor, and a sturdy case. She's working with a crew of other makers to develop a simple analog synth using the vape hardware and a few cheap components. She released a video a few months ago on how to harvest the batteries from these devices, and that's a great place to start on how to safely take these apart. Since the body of these cartridges is aluminum and unibody, getting everything soldered and installed is a tricky procedure, but what you get at the end is too good to pass up. A pocketable instrument with a few light reactive keys and a speaker, ready to make a few notes when you blow through the mouthpiece. From the stock pot, we have a 3D printing project that solves a simple home reminder. Put your towel back on the hook when you're done using it. This is a custom 3D printed sliding hook that activates a self-contained circuit board that updates his Home Assistant server. The interesting part here is the control board. Instead of designing his own, he's harvesting the PCB from these off-the-shelf smart home door and window sensors. They're self-powered by a CR2032 battery, and the triggering event is activated by a reed switch, which means it can be repurposed to report on a number of events based on the presence of a magnet. With a simple spring-loaded mechanism, the magnet engages the reed switch, notifying the Home Assistant server, and no more soggy towels on the bed. Good job, home automation. We always love a creative Cyberdeck build, and this Solarpunk Cyberdeck build by Boobey wears that crown proudly. She wants her deck to be able to charge itself via solar panels, but this build goes so far beyond that. Her build begins with this gorgeous wooden jewelry box. She's using a Pi 02 with a Pi Sugar power management board to manage the battery charging. But beyond that, there's just magic in the design. Complementing the wood enclosure is this soothing interior with plants and moss. It's a gorgeous minimalist build. Now for some tips and tools. From Maker's Muse, we have a look into the design of a threadless ball screw, a mechanism that can turn rotational movement into linear motion with minimal parts. And weirdly, why it never took off. This is a collection of bearings arranged around a central shaft, and they're all tilted at an angle. That tilt creates a helical movement similar to a standard lead screw, and you can alter the rate of precession by changing the angle of the bearings. Accuracy is the huge concern here, and while it's a fascinating mechanism, this is its fatal flaw. Angus does a great job of explaining things and how to work around them. CNC Kitchen has a great video about setting the ideal hole size for heat-set threaded inserts. Sometimes we follow the datasheet and the holes are too tight to get a good alignment, and sometimes too loose and there isn't enough for a mechanical bond. Estefannie presents a great technique to properly design your prints for maximum threaded success. And Clement has a video about her experience with the 100 Eraser Challenge. This is a new one for me, but I understand the concept. If you want to learn a new discipline, but you're worried about the cost of materials you'll incur while you learn the ropes. This is a method of using cheap materials, in this case, rubber erasers, to learn linotype carving. But this video is also an endearing testament to trusting the process. When you embark on the process of making 100 things, you're just going to improve over time. And finally, if you've seen the movie Project Hail Mary, this prop of astronaut Ryland Grace rendered in xenonite has certainly stood out for you. And thankfully, the filmmakers have released the file for you to have your own. Frankly, I love this turn in popular media when the filmmakers release the same assets they likely used to make their own props. You can find a link to the file at projecthailmary.com. For this week's DigiKey Spotlight, we have a video on their product discovery channel about hydraulic magnet circuit breakers. Traditional bimetal circuit breakers are great for many applications, but I was delighted to learn about these specialized breakers. They depend on the current load to energize an electromagnet and then disengage when the circuit is overloaded, but also use a fluid medium as a damper to absorb momentary spikes. It's a cool concept and seems hugely tunable to a variety of applications. Alright, and that is going to do it for this week's show. A reminder, as always, that you can get more info about every single one of these projects by checking out the links down in the description. While you're there, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and hit subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Huge thanks as always to DigiKey for making this show possible and to you for watching. Take care, we'll see you soon.